Soloman Nelson's recent rise through the ranks as a YouTuber is for many reasons. One of them is obviously that he's an actual intellectual, and he's pretty much shitting all over the pseudo-intellectuals that have been running the fitness community as we know it. Because they have really good graphics and a lot of subscribers, they can pretty much tell us anything they want, as we're not too focused and we're certainly not fact-checking them or checking their sources. As long as they present something that looks legitimate, we'll consume it, take it as fact, and assume that they're a subject matter expert. What's recently come to light is that they're not. They're actually kind of emotional and a little bit strange.
Who am I compared to Mike Mentzer? Well, I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. I'm more educated than Mike Mentzer. I know more things than Mike Mentzer.
Some of them are accredited, some of them are just straight up not, but we listen to them anyways. I believe a lot of this has to do with the retention rate of gym goers in general. Unfortunately, it's kind of just like a bad sales job. Once you get it, you go in there and then you don't really like it anymore. You got a couple of guys doing it for life and a couple of guys that have it as a side job because it's not salary. But that's really how it is. So not everybody's out there questioning this stuff. Soloman Nelson's career potential is immense, mostly because he's proven himself to be a very credible source of information and reserve. He handles himself well in his videos, at least for now. Obviously, he has a million years ahead of him to make a fool of himself. I hope he doesn't. But as of right now, all that he does is prepare a pretty ironclad argument, which it's like he's arguing with a fourth grader based off of the opponents that he's put himself up against or have put themselves up against him so far. And he's presented you with facts and extremely well-worded arguments. This is the mark of a new era in fitness content, something that we've been lacking. I recently made a video on why is fitness content stale. The main point was, well, we kind of know everything that there is, and most of this information is pretty much mumbo-jumbo garbage to begin with. It's unnecessary repetition, workout sheets for people who don't need them, ideas for people who go to the gym 3 times a week, or will quit within the next 2 years because they had a kid or got a job or did something different with their lives. What Soloman is able to do now is credit and discredit the correct individuals in our community. He can become what is the gym community's harbinger of truth, whether or not he dissects your nutrition label or whatever thesis you have. He can go after it and tell you if it's credible or not with honesty and integrity. Again, emphasizing the reason that this is important is because people have pretty much gotten away with telling us whatever they wanted under the guise of, I'm a PhD. Well, it turns out the PhD thesis that got Mike Israetel his PhD was, hey, if you have more muscle, you're going to perform better in sports. I'm not saying that Jeff Nippard and Mike Israetel are wrong about everything because they make YouTube videos, but what I am saying is the analysis going forward of these people in a more deep dive by Soloman Nelson is going to be extremely interesting and, in my opinion, necessary. I think that these people have garnered extreme wealth, fame, and reputation due to their high production value and supposedly scientific approach to things. But then again, anybody could have been doing this. If I had a good enough editor, I could have walked in a gym, worked out pretty hard for 5 years, and then decided, hey, I'm going to tell you guys how I did it. I did 30 bicep curls a day with each arm. 2 of them were upside down. That really helped the blood flow. Before, the only intellectuals in the science-based lifting community were people saying one thing. The people who were arguing against them were IFBB pros who absolutely knew what they were talking about, like Greg Doucette, but nobody wanted to hear about it because his logic was too logical. He would say, no, that doesn't make sense. If you just do this, this works. That wasn't enough. Some people really like to view themselves as high-level intellects. So you have to get a guy with an accent that knows a lot of big words in there to say blah, 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 this, in order for people to listen. That's just how part of the world operates. It's not, logical. Obviously, those people are pseudo-intellectual themselves. But, if you were smart enough, you would understand Sam Sulek pretty much said it himself. Hey, go to the gym and work hard, get a lot of rest, and eat well. All right, that's the end of the story. But some people want to hear it from a guy with a lot of data and graphs and citations that apparently aren't even real or haven't happened yet or placed somewhere in the future or are mistyped, which goes against the whole intellectual look that they're putting out. What you're going to see is a boom. Hopefully, as long as Soloman Nelson continues down this path, he has a lot of content to work with, and so far he's made it look pretty easy for himself, mostly because a true intellectual person tends to be able to dismantle childish arguments or really bad thesis papers very easily. It wouldn't be hard for anybody with a little bit of effort and intelligence to go in and dissect these things themselves. However, this is who is coming up right now. And as long as he continues down this road, we're going to get a lot of clarity into our field. But at the end of the day, people are still only going to watch Jeff Nippard's TikToks and his Instagram Reels saying, hey, look, if you do the spider curl, your bicep turns green in my imagery, and that's good. And you're going to go, spider curl, good. And then you're going to click follow and like the video. And nothing's really going to change. But for the people who actually care, they're going to be pointed, at least, in the right direction. We don't know where Soloman's going to end up. He's on a much faster path to success than I am. But at the end of the day, it's very deserving. He's making high-level quality content. And I think you guys should lend an ear to it. But judge it fairly as he judges others fairly himself. If you want to know the truth about working out and never watch another workout video again in your life, I'll tell you how to do it right now. Rest well, work out hard, eat well. All right. You can add in little things, you can add in a sauna trip, you can take some vitamins. You can add in a lot of things to enhance that, but just do those, you're going to be fine. Go on a walk after you eat. Don't eat 3 hours before bed. There's a lot of things you can do scientifically that'll enhance that. But at the end of the day, that's it. Soloman Nelson, if you would like to dissect that 30-second clip, I'd appreciate it very much because I don't know if I hit the nail on the head or not, but it sounds like pretty sound advice to me.